Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Cozy Corner. It's your girl Jen, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm just a regular old college student at Cal State Dominguez. But if you're not new here, welcome back to the chaos. So, if you can't already tell by this thumbnail, I'm gonna be reading for the month of May. I'm gonna be reading the most like you either love it or you hate it type of book. And I just like I've seen so many people have so many thoughts without having so many thoughts. If you know what I'm saying. Like people will literally hate on this book or they'll literally love this book and it's their entire freaking personality. It's giving Thrown a Glass is what I've been hearing. It's not actually Thrown a Glass. So we're following okay, without like getting it into it, I'm gonna be reading the Blood and Ash series this month. People either really love this book or they really freaking hate it with their entire being. And I'm not one of those people. I literally am loving it so far, but I'm not gonna say that because I'm gonna talk about it in my monthly wrap up in my new video coming out this month, which is gonna be going over this entire series. It's gonna be another long one. I'm not sure if you guys like long form content. Let me know in the comments if you do, or if you prefer something shorter like this. I'm hoping to get it under 20 minutes, but yeah, this month we're going to be going over the entire TBR that I'm going through, but the majority of it, like I'm cutting this month and next month TBR just to cover this entire series. That's literally what I'm going to be reading. I have thrown a couple of books in there that are going to be for filler and like palette cleansers, just to like if I'm not having a good time with the book, I can always like switch it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little healthy. You know what I'm saying? Sprinkle a little salt in the seasoning. Anyway, so we have the from Blood and Ash series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I don't know why that was so hard to say. I literally like my brain like spasmed for a second. This book follows Poppy, who is the maiden of this city, and we're in a world where vampires, werewolves, and like zombie vampires exist. And the zombie vampires will be known as the Craven from here on out. I'll like give a little brief introduction in my actual video going over this series so that you guys know what I'm talking about. But the Craven were created by the actually no, I'm so sorry. I can't even say that. I supposedly, allegedly, the Craven were created by the Dark One. The Dark One is like this part of this rival kingdom across the land essentially, and they're the Dark One is part of this entire like kingdom full of like these evil baddies. And so Poppy is the maiden of this other realm where the ascended realm reside. There we go. But we also have vampires in this book, and we have werewolves, and we have the zombies and stuff like that. But we also have like a subspecies. We have a higher species, superior species of people that are kind of like vampires, but not really. They aren't as crazy as the vampires. They're like more regal and elegant, demure, cutesy, all that stuff. They don't go crazy as fuck. Like the vampires are kind of like the younger sibling who just goes off and just like gets crazy, white shit drunk, shit face drunk, and all that stuff. But anyways, besides the point, Poppy is the maiden of this realm, like I said, of the Ascended, and she is very sheltered, very demure, very cutesy, very wholesome, never had sex in her life, but she's very curious. She wants to know what it's like to have all of these experiences, even though she's not supposed to. She's supposed to remain this very elegant, very demure, very cutesy, sheltered, reserved type of person because she's the maiden. And if you don't know, the maiden by itself already sounds like a very conservative name or a conservative title. And so what Poppy does is she ends up sometimes going out in the middle of the night when she can't sleep and just like wanders off into town. She doesn't bring any of her guards with her. She doesn't bring her best friend with her. None of that stuff. She just wants to go take a walk. Honestly, valid. I get it. I totally understand. And one night she ends up coming across this bar, tavern, brothel, whatever you want to call it, and she ends up meeting this person named Hawk, and Hawk and her have a little bit spicy time. I don't think they have sex. They definitely don't have sex yet, but they do more than Poppy has ever done in her entire life, and it's literally just like touching, kissing, and making out. That's it. Like nothing else. And so later, like Poppy is still trying to like keep herself like reserved. She has this veil that she's supposed to wear, not just as a symbol of being the maiden, but also to cover up her very revealing scars, like her face, like as a child, as a very young child, she and her entire family got like ravaged by Craven, and she was like the only survivor of that incident. And so she has these scars all over her body, but specifically on her face, that is a very distinguishing, element. So if you saw those scars and you've heard the rumors, you'd be like, that's the maiden, that's for sure the maiden. But she also wears this veil to cover her face because nobody's supposed to know who she is. And so something happens to one of her guards, and she ends just to like give you a little bit of background. Her guards include this like right hand man named Victor, who's like her father figure. He's like he's raised her basically, and he's also trained her. And she's not supposed to be trained. She's not supposed to know how to like raise a blade or like know how to throw a knife or whatever the heck. But he decided that he wanted to be able to protect her where he could, and in those moments where he can't protect her, he wanted her to know how to train herself, know how to save herself, know how to defend herself. There we go. And so she's very proficient in all of these things, but Victor is like her father figure. Okay, so we know that guy. And something ends up happening something ends up happening to one of her guards, and she ends up having this new guard position that she needs to fill all of a sudden. And I believe the person that got picked, lo and behold, was Hawk. And we're not gonna go into all the details. If you want to know about the rest of the story, you can go ahead and look up this video down in the description. I'll like link it there. But like I said, I'm doing a whole like reading vlog of just like this entire series because people really either love this series or they freaking hate it with their entire being, and I don't understand. I'm sitting here eating the breadcrumbs and just like like mouth open and agape, just watching this unfold, and I'm just like, wow, I'm loving it. It's everything that I wanted and more. And that's not to say that I won't like it in the future and in future books, but so far I'm really loving it. I'm on the second book already. I'm not going to say my thoughts on the first book, but I'm loving this series. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, and so that's the whole like plot synopsis, premise, like and everything like that. I'm gonna read the plot synopsis of every one of these books, and it is going to add some time to the video. I'm not going to lie, and maybe there's going to be some spoilers from the plot synopsis from that'll happen in previous books, but that doesn't matter because, like I said, it's my channel and I do whatever the fuck I want. I don't know if I said this right now or if I said this in a different video. I've recorded a little bit this morning. But yeah, being besides the point, from Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. On the back, reading the entire back. Captivating and action-packed, From Blood and Ash is a sexy, addictive, and unexpected fantasy, perfect for fans of Sarah J. Maas and Laura Thalassa. I don't know who Laura Thalassa is, but I've read Sarah J. Maas. I love Sarah J. Maas, especially her Throne of Glass series and her ACOTAR series. I won't lie, I didn't really like her Crescent City series up until a certain point, but I'm loving it. I just love it. It's a 4-star book. You know what I'm saying? It's good. Did the job. Anyway, so a maiden, chosen from birth to usher in a new era, Poppy's life has never been her own. The life of the maiden is solitary, never to be touched, never to be looked upon, never to be spoken to, never to experience pleasure. Waiting for the day of her ascension, she would rather be with the guards, fighting back the evil that took her family than preparing to be found worthy by the gods. But the choice has never been hers. A duty. The entire kingdom's future rests on Poppy's shoulders, something she's not even quite sure she wants for herself, because a maiden has a heart and a soul and longing, and when Hawk, a golden-eyed guard, honor-bound to ensure her ascension, enters her life, destiny and duty become tangled with desire and need. He incites her anger, making her question everything she believes in, and tempts her with the forbidden. A kingdom, forsaken by the gods and feared by mortals, a fallen kingdom is rising once more, determined to take back what they believe is theirs through violence and vengeance. And as the shadow of those cursed draws closer, the line between what is forbidden and what is right becomes blurred. Poppy is not only on the verge of losing her heart and being found unworthy by the gods, but also her life, when every blood-soaked thread that holds her world together begins to unravel. I love this book. I'm not going to rate it because this is not what the point of the video is, but I loved this freaking book. I re-listened to half of it on audio, and I won't lie, the Everand app has like a dramatized version of it, and I figured, that'd be my first time attempting to listen to a dramatized version of it. I didn't like it. I was having a hard time following, and I feel like if I immersive read, it would have been a lot easier, but I feel like it did get distracted because how an audio sounds does not sound how the voice in my head does when I'm reading books, but that's besides the point. So moving on to the next series, the next book, the next season, the next chapter. I don't know why I'm fucking talking like this. The Kingdom of Blood and Ash. No, I keep saying that. I don't know why. I don't know if I've said it in this video yet, but I keep saying the Kingdom of Blood and Ash when because I love the Throne of Glass book. This is a Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. Don't get it twisted, girly pop. Know what you're talking about. Stand on business. 10 toes down, all the stuff. But I don't know. I'm acting like this. I'm tired and my ADHD is going, and I'm just really excited for today because I'm going to the beach, did the makeup and all that stuff, and I'm really excited because I get to see my besties. But anyway, is love stronger than vengeance? A betrayal. Everything Poppy has ever believed in is a lie, including the man she's falling in love with. Thrust among those who see her as a symbol of a monstrous kingdom, she barely knows who she is without the veil of the maiden. But what she does know is that something is as dangerous to her as him, the Dark One, the Prince of Atlantia. He wants her to fight him, and that's the order she was more than happy to obey. He may have taken her, but he will never have her. A choice. Castile Denier is known by many names and many faces. His lies are as seductive as his touch, his truth as sensual as his bite. Poppy knows better than to trust him. He needs her alive, healthy, and whole to achieve his goals. But he's the only way for her to get what she wants, to find her brother Ian and see for herself if he has become a soulless ascended. Working with Castile instead of against him presents his own risks. He still tempts her with every breath, offering up all she's ever wanted. Castile has plans for her, ones that would expose her to unimaginable pleasure and unfathomable pain. Plans that will force her to look beyond everything she's thought she knew about herself and about him. plans that could bind their lives together in an unexpected way that neither kingdom is prepared for, and she is far too reckless, too hungry to resist temptation. A secret. But unrest has grown in Atlantia as they await for the return of their prince. Whispers of war has become stronger, and Poppy is at the very heart of it all. The king wants to use her to send a message. The dissenters want her dead. The Wolven are growing more unpredictable, and as her abilities to feel pain and emotion begin to grow and strengthen, the Atlanteans start to fear her. Dark secrets are at play here, once steeped in the blood. Blah, blah, one steeped in the blood-drenched sins of two kingdoms that would do anything to keep the truth hidden. But when the earth begins to shake and the skies start to bleed, it may already be too late. Now, if that doesn't get you enticed enough to read this book, go in it for the plot. Go in it for the plot, okay? The plot. The freaking the sensuality and all this stuff. It's very spicy. Go in knowing that. It's just anyway, going back to the next book, there is a specific reading order that I am following. It's basically mixing the two series together, the From Blood and Ash and the Flesh and Fire series or something like that. And this is the first book in the. I'm sorry. Yeah, disregard exactly what I said about this book, but this is still a Blood and Ash novel according to this. Yeah. So this is the third book in the series. It's called A Crowd of Gilded Bones, and yeah, so bow before your queen or bleed before her. This may contain spoilers. Warning, warning, warning. You have your chance to opt out now and skip to a further episode or a further timestamp. But anyway, yeah, I just don't care. If there's spoilers in the plot synopsis, there's spoilers in the plot synopsis. I couldn't care less. She's been the victim and the survivor. Poppy never dreamed she would find the love she's found with Prince Castile. She wants to revel in their happiness, but first they must free his brother and find hers. It's a dangerous mission and one with far-reaching consequences never dreamed of, because Poppy is the chosen, the blessed, the true ruler of Atlantia. She carries the blood of the king and the gods with her. By right of the crown and the kingdom are hers. By right, the crown and the kingdom of hers are hers. The enemy and the warrior. Poppy has only ever wanted to control her own life, not the lives of others, but now she must choose whether to forsake her birthright to seek or seize the gilded crown, and become the queen of flesh and fire. But as the kingdom's dark sins and blood-drenched secrets finally unravel, a long-forgotten power arises to pose a genuine threat, and they will stop at nothing to ensure that the crown never sits upon Poppy's head. The lover and heartmate. Yeah, there is fated mates in this book, just so you know. But the greatest threat to them and to Atlantia is what it wastes in the far west, where the Queen of Blood and Ash has her own plans, ones that she has waited hundreds of years to carry out. Poppy and Castile must consider the impossible, travel to the lands of the gods and wake the king himself. And as shocking secrets and the harshest betrayals come to light, the enemies emerge to threaten everything Poppy and Castile have fought for. They will discover just how far they are willing to go for their people and each other. Now she will become queen. Ugh, guys, I'm excited to read this book. I have not started it yet. Obviously, I'm still on the second book, and I'm going to talk about that more later. But I'm loving it. I'm loving this entire series. I just can't get enough of it. Now we have The Shadow and the Ember. A Shadow in the Ember. This is the first book in the Flesh and Fire series. I believe there's only like 3 or 4 books in this series, but this is the prequel to the Blood and Ash series. And like I said, there's a specific reading order that I am following. If you want to know about it, go look it on Google. Literally just from Blood and Ash like reading order, and it'll show you. Born shrouded, and so this is like about a completely different set of characters. Born shrouded in the brave. Born shrouded in the veil of primals, a maiden as the fates promise. Seraphina Muriel's future has never been hers. Chosen before birth to uphold the desperate deal her ancestor struck to save his people, Sarah must leave behind her life and offer herself to the primal of death as his consort. However, Sarah's real destiny is the most closely guarded secret in all of Lysania. She's not the well-protected maiden, but an assassin with one mission, one target: make the primal of death fall in love, become his weakness, and then end him. If she fails, she dooms her kingdom to a slow demise at the hands of the rot. Sarah has always known what she is: chosen, consort, assassin, weapon, a specter never fully formed yet drenched in blood, a monster, until the primal of death's unexpected words and deeds chase away the darkness gathering inside her, and his seductive touch ignites a passion that she's never allowed to herself to feel and cannot feel for him. But Sarah has never had a choice. Either way, her life is forfeit. It always has been, and she has been forever touched by life and death. I'm excited. I'm excited to read this, this spin-off series because I'm gonna eat it up and everything like that. So this is still a Flesh and Fire novel. This is called A Fire in the Flesh. If I didn't say it before, the first book in the first book in the Flesh and Fire series, why was that so hard to say, is called The Shadow and the Ember. So this is the second book in the series. This is also a Barnes and Noble's exclusive edition. I just found this at Book Off and picked it up, and it's very cute. It's very pretty. This is what it has on the front. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like something. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and read the plot synopsis, and we'll get into the rest of the series. I'm tired. I've been talking so much today. Why is this book not working with me? Work with me, friend! Okay, so the only thing that can save the realms now is the one thing more powerful than the fates. After a startling betrayal ends with both Sarah and the dangerously seductive ruler of the Shadowland she has fallen madly in love with being held. Why is that sentence so fucking long? I'm gonna start over. After a startling betrayal ends with both Sarah and the dangerously seductive ruler of the Shadowland she has fallen madly in love with being held captive by the false king of the gods, there is only one thing that can free Nyktos and prevent the forces of the Shadowlands from invading Dalos and igniting the war of primals. Convincing Colas won't be easy, though not even with a lifetime of training. Convincing Colas won't be easy though, not even with a lifetime of training. While his most favored revenant is insistent that she's nothing more than a lie, Colas's erratic nature and twisting sense of humor leaves her shaken to the core, and nothing would have kept prepared her for the cruelty of his court and the shocking truths revealed. The revelations not only upend what she has understood about her duty and the very creation of the realms, but also draw into question exactly what the true threat is. However, surviving Colas is only one part of the battle. The ascension is upon her, and Sarah is out of time. But Nyktos will do anything to keep Sarah alive and give her the life that she deserves. He'll even risk the utter destruction of the realms, and that's exactly what will happen if he doesn't ascend as a primal of life. Yet, despite his desperate determination, their destinies may be out of their hands. But there is that unforeseen and unexpected. But there is that foreseen, unexpected threat, the unpredictable, unknown and unwritten, the only thing more powerful than the fates. Okay, so I know that there was a mention of the maiden in the first book that wasn't Poppy. I guess there was like a maiden before Poppy was born. And I'm guessing that this series, this prequel is going to be going over that. But essentially what Poppy was told as a young child was that the maiden before her was like, I don't know, like corrupted by the dark one, and they basically like she didn't die or anything. She wasn't what do you call it? She wasn't unworthy by the gods. She didn't ascend. So I'm guessing that's what it's about. I also have the War of Two Queens. This is another Blood and Ash novel. So what I'm understanding is we're going to read the first two books of the Blood and Ash novel. I'm sorry, the Blood and Ash series. Read the first two books of the Flash and Fire series, and then go back to the Blood and Ash series. Yeah. So back to Poppy and her stuff. From the desperation of Golden Crowns, Castile Denier knows all too well that very few are as cunning or as vicious as the Blood Queen, but no one, not even him, could have prepared for the staggering revelations. The magnitude of what the Blood Queen has done is almost unthinkable. And born of mortal flesh, nothing will stop Poppy from freeing her king and destroying everything the Blood Crown stands for. With the strength of the primal of life's guards behind her and the support of the Wolven, Poppy must convince the Atlantean generals to make war her way, because there can be no retreat this time, not if she has any hope of building a future where both kingdoms can reside in peace. A great primal of power arises. Together, Poppy and Castile must embrace traditions old and new to safeguard those they hold dear, to protect those who cannot defend themselves. But war is only the beginning. Ancient primal powers have already stirred, revealing the horror of what began eons ago. To end what the Blood Queen has begun, Poppy must have to become what she has always prophesied to be, and what she fears the most. So I'm guessing she's going to ascend in this one. I'm going to go over all of that and what it means in my TBR video of this series. As the harbinger of dread. Okay, I'm so sorry. To end what the Blood Queen has begun, Poppy must become what she has been prophesied to be, what she fears the most, as the harbinger of death and destruction. That wasn't in the first book. I thought she was supposed to ascend as the maiden and do all these things, and without spoiling and stuff. And of course, I'm flabbergasted. I'm intrigued. I'm loving this, and I can't wait to finish the series next month. I'm hoping that my thoughts and feelings and all this stuff remain the same, because if they don't, I might cry. But anyways, I next on my okay. So these are my two like manga filler like palette cleanser books of this month. I have the first novels, the first manga in two series. One is the Hell's Paradise series. It is a series. I have a hard time explaining this. So it's kind okay. How do I? Okay, a bunch of convicted convicts compete to go to this island, and they end up bringing it down from like 100. I'm just gonna throw out some random number. They end up going down from 100 convicted convicts to about maybe 12 or something like that, and they go to this forbidden island of paradise to obtain the elixir of life. And this guy, he's morally gray as fuck, but he was like there's this moment where what he's been convicted of is like killing his wife, but did he actually kill his wife? And so we find that out in this whole series. And sorry, I forget what the main character's name is. Gabimaru the Hollow. There we go. His handler, essentially, that every convict that goes to the island is paired with, is this samurai like no bullshit, all straight face, bitch face type of person, and she's with him, and he's like they have to work together to get the elixir of life. I don't think I finished the series. I want to say that I did. It is on Netflix or Hulu. I believe it's on Netflix. Yeah, it is on Netflix if you want to go watch it. It's a very good series. Very seductive at parts. It's like very obnoxious and like what the fuck in your face and stuff like that, but it's very good. And I've read the entire series, and so now I'm reading the manga. I'm only going to read the first manga of these two series that I'm about to talk to you about, just because I don't have the time and the effort and the money to just like go out and buy the entire series and read it. Like that's too much. That's too much. I would love to like read Fairy Tail, the manga, like all the way through and buy all of the novellas and the mangas and everything else like that. But I don't have the time for it, and I understand that, and that's okay. So yeah. Anyways, besides the point, I'm also going to be reading the Kakegurui novel, number 1. If you don't know what this series is about, go freaking watch it. Why are you sitting under the rock? Go ahead and I'll go out of the rock and watch it. It's about a high school that is full of gambling addicts. Like, I'm not even kidding you. And they're all very obnoxious. Like, they get off. They orgasm off their fucking their gamble stuff. And this girl, this transfer student, comes into this high school and is very like demure, cutesy at first, but like she ends up coming out of her shell. Obviously, like you can see how like seductive and like how much of a good time that she's having. But she comes off like her entire personality is like that cute girl, like, hey Bessie, how you been? Let's go here, let's do that. But she ends up meeting this like, okay, how do I explain this? So like I said, this high school follows like a bunch of gambling addicts, and there's like a bunch of classes of these gambling addicts. And if you happen to fall to the lowest class, you kind of like are like rightfully bullied. And she ends up meeting this lower class guy who has like a bunch of gambling debt because like he's the lower class. He's known as a puppy. And there's also like people who are known as kittens, where it's like basically like just the male and female. If you owe like a bunch of money and haven't paid it back yet, that's like your status, I guess. And everybody bullies you and treats you like shit. But she ends up coming to this school, and she doesn't. Oh, I don't know. I kind of feel like she does know that it's a gambling school, but she acts like she doesn't. And so people like try to take advantage of her, and they're like, "Oh, let's go play a game. Like it'll be fun." And it's her first gambling game. And I believe this book is probably just gonna follow the first like I guess gambling scene, and then like I guess that's gonna be it. But she ends up gambling this rock paper scissors gamble event where everybody has to put a card into a box, and on that card they will have drawn either a rock, paper, or a scissors. And the two contestants, this girl and oh my gosh, isn't her name like Momo or some shit like that? Oh my gosh, no, Yumeko. I'm so sorry, Yumeko Jabami. There we go. Where was I going with this? Yeah, she's battling against this other girl. I forget her name. Does it say in here? No, she doesn't, but that doesn't matter. This blonde girl, essentially, who she's battling against, and what they have to do, they're given a series of cards, and they have to guess. I guess they have to guess what. Oh, okay. So they have a series of cards, and they're supposed to play those cards, but on the cards that they play are what they're assuming is what's going to come out of that box. So, like for example, if I put down a paper, and the other person puts down a rock or a scissors, whatever third party student goes and pulls out of that box, if it becomes a paper or a scissors, is who's going to win. If that makes any sense. But yeah, that's her first game, and it's very obscene. It's very obnoxious. It's very like so dramatic, and I literally fucking love this entire like. The show that I watched on Netflix, literally just what do you call it? Just copium. There we go. It's literally just a palate cleanser, and it's so funny. It's ridiculous, and it's amazing. And I just maybe if I need a palate cleanser this month, I can read it. You know what I'm saying? Next though, oh, did I not go over it? Oh dang, whatever. if you guys don't know, in May, the night, and maybe it was May or was it June? I think it was May 22nd or something like that. A Night in the Moth came out, and this is by Rachel Gillig. If you haven't read her One Dark Window duology, I haven't either, but I plan to later this year. Go fucking read it because I've heard that it's absolutely amazing. I bought the special edition off of at Barnes and Noble. I like ended up getting it ordered, and it's so pretty, you guys. I literally like the sprayed edges on this thing. I cannot, like, it's so beautiful, and you guys don't understand. But does it have a flipped cover? I don't believe so. Barnes and Noble usually doesn't do that. Oh, no, it doesn't, because of course it doesn't. But yeah, I have no idea what the series is about or what this book is about. Apparently it's supposed to be a duology, just like I don't know what the Shepherd's duology is about. But let me just read the premise for you. And I don't know, I'm talking so fast, I think it's my ADHD is going crazy as always. But anyway, so I'm sorry. Sybil Delling has spent 9 years dreaming of having no dreams at all. Like the other foundling girls who traded a decade of service for a home in the great cathedral, Sybil is a diviner. In her dreams, she receives visions from 6 unearthly figures known as the Omens. From them, she can predict terrible things before they occur, and lords and common folk alike travel across the Stonewater Kingdom's windswept moors and craggy mountains to learn their futures by her dreams. Just as she and her sister diviners near the end of their service, a mysterious knight arrives at the cathedral. Rude, heretical, and devilishly handsome, the knight Roderick has no respect for Sybil's visions. But when Sybil's fellow diviners begin to vanish one by one, she has no choice but to seek his help in finding them. For the world outside the cathedral's cloister is wrought with peril. Only the gods have the answers that she is seeking, and as much as she'd rather avoid Roderick's dark eyes and sharp tongues, only a heretic can defeat a god. That sounds really fun and really interesting. I don't know what it is about Barnes & Noble exclusive editions, or maybe it's just Rachel Gillig's editions herself, but like these books are fucking heavy, and I think in my yearly TBR wrap-up video or something like that, I did mention the books, or I think it was like a book haul that I had gotten, but like I mentioned that these books are literally freaking heavy, and the 2 Twisted Crowns collector's edition that I had gotten from Barnes & Noble as well is like also really fucking heavy. But anyways, yeah, that's besides the point, but I'm just like really excited to read these books. Quickly going over the next 2, I'm also planning to read the Bold Moves book and The Mistake. The Mistake is going to be my like book clubs book this month that I'm planning to read on Kindle Unlimited. All of Elle Kennedy's books of the what do you call it? It's like a college hockey series. They're all up here. I want to say it's the off-campus series. All of her off-campus series are on Kindle Unlimited if you want to go check them out, but definitely highly recommend them. Yeah, so I have no idea what either of those books are about. I do know that the first book in the off-campus series follows like a girl and the guy, and they end up like having fake dating tropes and stuff like that, and they end up like, of course, getting together at the end. I did not read the plot synopsis of either of these books, the Bold Moves or the Mistake book, but yeah, that's also what I'm going to be reading. And I've been talking forever on here, and I'm just obviously very passionate about one specific series, and I'm like excited to read them, but I am also excited to read the other books that I mentioned in this video. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up right here because I feel like I've been talking for way too long, but if you like this video, go ahead and like it, definitely subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss when I upload a brand new video. I am very excited for what's to come in the next few months. I am working very hard on uploading some content that I'm very excited for. It's literally just going to be book related. Like, it's going to be a bunch of the random stuff that I've been reading, but I'm actually really excited for my picks for the next few months. But anyway, go ahead and comment down below if you have read this very controversial series, and if you haven't, maybe let's read it together, you know? Maybe let's like talk about it and hang out and stuff like that and be friends and whatever the heck. But if you have read this series and you did like it or did not like it, tell me why in the comments. I know the writing was like a little bit off and a little bit weird. I'm not one to like super critique like grammar and stuff like that, because again, I could never read these books. But yeah, so go ahead and interact and stuff like that. Maybe we'll talk and hang out and have friends and stuff like that. But like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see you guys in the next video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.